We'll call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll have roll call, please.
Councilmember Waller,
Yes.
Selby, Miller,
Yes.
Gullikson,
Yes.
Mayor East.
Yes. We have reading and approval of minutes from December 27th regular meeting.
I will move approval of the December 27 regular minutes.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We also have the 12/27 condensed version.
I'll move approval of the condensed version of the minutes.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried. We have a resolution declaring a vacancy.
No, there's a motion before that.
Oh, sorry, we need a motion here. We have a motion to receive and accept resignation from Kevin Wallers.
That is
Do
your
I get
wish.
to move on that?
That is your wish.
Back on.
I will move on a motion to receive and accept the resignation from Councilman Kevin Wallers.
I will second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Now, we have a resolution officially declaring a vacancy to exist.
I will move on that resolution declaring a vacancy to exist.
I will second that. Any discussion? We'll have roll call vote on the resolution, please.
Councilmember Waller,
Yes.
Selby, Miller,
Yes.
Gullikson,
Yes.
Mayor East.
Yes. Now we have oath of office.
Let's start with the new mayor. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Kevin Wallers,
I, Kevin Wallers,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Minnesota
and of the state of Minnesota
and the charter of the city of Morris,
and the charter of the city of Morris,
and will discharge faithfully
and will discharge faithfully
the duties devolving upon me
the duties devolving upon me
as mayor of the city of Morris
as mayor of the city of Morris,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're a good leader.
Yes, thank
Good
you.
luck.
Congratulations.
Mayor Sheldon.
Come on over on this side of the table.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we'll have you come back over here, and then Sheldon's gonna hang out, and then we'll have Aaron swear in Jeff. We'll have to swear in Brian next week, when we have our next meeting.
Please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Jeff Miller,
I, Jeff Miller,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Minnesota
and the state of Minnesota
and the charter of the city of Morris,
and the charter of the city of Morris,
and will discharge faithfully the duties devolving upon me as a council member
and discharge faithfully the duties that are upon me from the council
of the city of Morris
of the city of Morris
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
Welcome back.
Good to be here.
Now we can do a new roll call.
Okay, we will have roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Selby, Miller,
Yes.
Gullikson, Olson,
Are we
We're
voting or
it's
just saying,
a-
yeah?
We're taking roll.
Okay, here, yeah, present. Yeah.
and Mayor Wallers.
Yes.
Okay. And at this time, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have you go out front, Kevin. I'm gonna read a plaque. Sheldon, if you would come up front. I'm gonna read a plaque and then I'm gonna have the new mayor give the plaque to the old mayor, if that works for everybody.
That's appropriate.
All right. City of Morris, in appreciation of Mayor Sheldon Gies, January 2007 to December 2022. On behalf of the citizens of Morris, the Morris City Council, and all the employees of the city, we would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your 16 years of service as the City of Morris mayor and the additional 4 years you served as a city council member. The mayor position is critical to city government. The mayor is the face of the city and represents its citizens at various events and activities. The most important thing, though, is the responsibility for guiding the city council through its various responsibilities to include times of crisis, like the recent pandemic and windstorm. You always did these duties in a friendly and positive manner. You represented Morris very well. Thank you for serving the city of Morris as our mayor. We wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Congratulations.
Next.
Come out of the way.
Thank you, sir.
Sheldon.
You've done a good job. Enjoy your retirement.
Thanks, Kim.
It's good working with you.
Great working.
Okay, I think what we'll do at this time, I have just a few words that I'd like to say before we proceed and get to work. I want to begin by saying how truly humble I am to be standing before you as the next mayor of Morris. I appreciate the support the citizens of Morris have declared in my abilities to represent the interests of this great community. I want to take this opportunity again to thank you, Mayor Gies, for 20 years plus of service, 16 of those as mayor. You've truly been a solid person and had a lot of influence on me over my 10 years in the council, so I want to say thank you for that. His commitment to this community is commendable. I asked myself how many mayors there's been in the history of Morris as I was preparing to do this little acceptance speech. And to help me with this, I reached out to Bill Eckerson and Cam Erickson at the Stevens County Historical Society. Bill did some research into this office, and he shared with me that elected officials in Morris have been meeting the second Tuesday of the month since 1878. That's 144 years. Originally, mayors of the city were titled presidents of the village council. There were 13 different persons elected to that office from 1878 to 1903. Then in 1904, the title was changed to mayor. From 1904 to present, there have been 23 additional mayors, to include Mayor Gies. I will go down in the history books as the 37th mayor of Morris. Many people have come up to me since the election and told me that they believe that I will be a good mayor. I politely thanked them for their sentiments, but it got me wondering, just what does it take to be a good mayor? So I thought I'd do a little research into the attributes of a good mayor. Many I've observed from Mayor Sheldon, but here is a few additional ones. A good mayor facilitates discussion and preserves order. Good mayors, they strive to be fair and impartial. This often means listening more than speaking.
even on contentious issues. They provide leadership and are decisive when needed, and thoughtful and measured at the right moment in time. Mayors also have an attitude of humility. They also reject an attitude of entitlement. Good mayors listen to the needs of their constituents, and successful mayors gather facts before making decisions. And finally, they know that while it's sometimes appropriate to respond to the needs of individual constituents, while in other instances they must act for the betterment of the whole community, even when some residents may not like it. My commitment to the community of Morris is that I will strive to be a good mayor. I'm fortunate to have a very good city council. All of the members on this council have very unique skill sets. It's my job to draw out the best of each and every one of them. We are also very fortunate to have an experienced city manager. I look forward to working with City Manager Hill as we enter the new year. We have accomplished much over the last 10 years since I've been on the council, but with all of us working together, we can accomplish much more. And again, thank you very much. Okay, now we can get back down to business. We have a few acts here. The first order of business is going to be a discussion to fill the vacancy that we just declared. And in keeping with kind of the process that Mayor Gies has kind of laid out for us, I will save my comments and let the city council begin. So we'll maybe just start with Jeff, if you would like to kind of start the discussion, we can go from there.
Well, we've discussed potentially anyone that ran in our last election for any of the seats. I don't know if there's been any other interest, Blaine, from any community members that you're aware of. But I think a good start for us is to look into, and I think there's been interest from the other candidate for mayor and the other city council candidates. So that would be, I guess, looking into those options to start with, and we have 30 days to act on that. So I think that's the place for us to start.
Okay.
Yeah, it would have been nice if personally no one reached out to, did anybody personally reach out to, other than you, Blaine, say they were interested?
I didn't actually, I talked to him about what the process was gonna be.
Okay.
That it was strictly up to the city council who would get appointed to that position.
And are we gonna be voting tonight on this, or wait till Brian is back?
Well, that's kind of really up to you two also, and I guess my thought is on it, it might be better to wait until Brian's back, because it's an important enough decision where I think I certainly would like to have his input as well. Is that acceptable, you think, Blaine? Or-
Yeah, well, the interesting part about this is it's totally up to you. If you have somebody in mind, you could put a motion on the table. If you want to wait until Brian's here, that'd probably be a good idea to have everybody at the table. You can table it and put it on the agenda for the next meeting to talk about it. It's really open to just about whatever you want to do, because there's no set procedure for how to, and like I said, my discussion was only to let people know what the process is, and that's what I tried to do with you. That's what I tried to do on the radio. That's what I tried to do in talking with the newspapers, strictly regurgitating the fact of there's a vacancy. The decision to fill that vacancy is strictly up to the city council, any way you want to do it.
No, and you did in all those times
Yep.
discuss that, and also added contact the council members if you're interested.
Yeah,
'Cause-
well, that's.
And that's why it's kind of like no one contact, I would have thought at least an email saying, hey, I'm interested, would have been,
Well, I
put somebody right out there.
I actually did have one person contact me, and that person's sitting in the audience right now, and that was Sheila Hemming. So she previously ran for mayor
Okay.
a couple of times and has indicated that she's interested. So I would like to certainly, thank her for coming to the meeting, and, I'm sure we'll take you into consideration, Sheila. And, I guess were you finished?
I am. Go ahead.
I certainly don't want to steal your thunder, but, we have an opportunity here that doesn't come along all that often, and my personal feeling and comments on it is we, and I think I could probably speak for you too, try to encourage to get young people involved in the council. And we did have a young lady that ran. She got 830 votes, and I'm not going to certainly tell you who I think we should pick, but I think between now and then we could probably just keep in mind what kind of a message we're going to convey if we don't somehow bypass the person that actually ran for the job. We could be sending mixed messages to those aspiring people that are aspiring to get into local politics if we just would happen to come full circle around that person and then put whoever we want in. Because, the danger of that is you could say, well, why should I run? They're just going to put in who they want anyway. So that's my only caution that I would like to express. And, I think there's a lot of good people out there that would do a fine job. But, that being said, I don't know if we're in a position to make that decision tonight anyway. I just wanted to throw that kind of out there with, you and to Kim and Brian, just to kind of noodle on that between now and, I think we can just wait. Is Brian going to be back by next meeting?
I think so, yeah. He didn't say anything about that.
Per our rules, the vacancy occurred tonight. We have 30 days to
Yep.
fill the
Yep.
vacancy. There's no sense in rushing into it. Let's see who's interested. If we get a chance to talk to some potential candidates or past serving officials,
Yep.
to making people aware that we're going to take up to 30 days, and if we don't, then it will be your choice, Mr. Mayor. But I think if we have the 30 days, it just was vacated tonight, let's take our time and get the right person and somebody that's interested in the best interests of Morse.
I fully agree, and that's really all we're up to tonight, is just we're discussing it. There's really no action we need to take tonight, so.
Yep.
With that, I think we can move on to the next official act, and that would be the election of Mayor Pro Tem. Currently, we have Council Representative Gullickson as the Mayor Pro Tem, and I'll just throw it back to you guys and see where you're at with that.
I would nominate Councilperson Gullickson. I think she's done a good job in running the meetings when our mayor has been absent, and I think she will continue doing good if she's interested.
I'm still interested, so thanks.
Good, thank
It's
you.
just us two dudes.
Is that a motion?
I will make that a motion.
I will second.
Good.
So we have a motion and a second to nominate Councilmember Gullickson as Mayor Pro Tem. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Congratulations. All right, we shall move on to the designation of the official newspaper. And I think you have that information in front of you.
Did we have something from them?
I don't know if there was anything.
Well, I'm
Thank you.
recommending that we designate Stevens County Times as the official newspaper, since it's the only one we have.
We have a motion on that. Is there a
Even
second?
if it wasn't, we'd.
Even if it wasn't.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carried. All right, now we'll just kind of move right on. We have a couple of resolutions tonight. Our first resolution is adopting the 2023 Morris City Council Standing Rules. And I don't know, I think you see that here. We typically have used the Roberts Rules over the years, and that's been sort of the standard that we run from, and seems to be working well. Any other further discussion on that at all?
I'm not aware of any changes that I would recommend.
I'll move on that resolution adopting the 2023 Morris City Council standing rules.
Okay,
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion on that resolution. We have a second, so all those, we'll actually proceed by roll call vote on that resolution, please, Ashley.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Gullikson,
Yes.
Selby, Mayor Wallers,
Yes. Okay, motion carried. We shall move on to the resolution authorizing the finance director to designate depositories.
And this is the same thing we do every year. Nothing's changed with this.
I guess I can move on that resolution. I'll move on that resolution authorizing the finance director to designate depositories.
I will second.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote on that resolution, please, Ashley.
Councilmember Gullikson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Selby, Mayor Wallers,
Yes. Okay, carried. We will move on to mayoral appointments to boards and commissions. I think you have the list in front of you of who's been on the different ones, and is that different than the ex officio appointments, Blaine? Or are they one and the same?
Well, these are the non-city council members that are on the boards
Oh,
and commissions.
different boards and
Ex
commissions.
officios
Yeah, that'll be next, yeah.
would be the city council members.
Do we
So-
have to approve the appointments to those boards? Or is that just information?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've done that by motion.
I think we've done that in the
Okay.
past.
I
So
think
we're
it-
up, okay, yeah,
Go ahead.
never mind. Nope.
I was just wondering if you've had a chance to look over the different people that are on the boards and commissions, if you have any discussion or anything on that end. Otherwise, we'll just have to entertain a motion to approve those appointments and commissions.
I will make the motion to approve the 2023 Board Commission appointments as listed, but also just a note to anyone that's listening in that we do have several vacancies, 2 on the library board, 1 on the park board, 1 on the community education board, and 1 on the tourism board. If anyone out in the public is interested in serving on any of those areas, contact City Hall or any council person, and would greatly appreciate your service to the community in any of those areas.
Just a quick question. These are whose terms are up for 2023? Because these aren't all the people on the boards.
No, they're the
So
ones
the
that are up for, they're
2023.
the vacancies that need to be filled, yeah.
Okay,
Their terms are up and.
okay.
Yeah, it's, those boards, they're all very important parts of this whole thing, and without people stepping up, it takes a lot of people, and appreciate all these people that volunteer for these different boards. It's a very rewarding and necessary part of making everything work, so. Did we have a motion on that? We
I
had a
made the motion.
We had a second?
Hold on a second.
Kim, second? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we will move on to the appointments of ex officios. And I think you have the list of the current boards in front of you where we're currently at, and
The only thing I notice on here is Mayor Gies's name's on here, so I'm thinking he probably doesn't want to be part. So where you see the SEIC, the mayor was on the board, and so is this, the city manager actually serves as part of that board too, but, so then we have the SEIC and then West Central Initiative. We would need a council member to serve on that board, correct? Hey, did you serve on it before?
I have served, I
Yeah.
served a term, and I can't remember what the term is. Is it 6 years? Do you remember, Mayor? Past Mayor?
For West Central Initiative?
Yeah.
2 3-year terms, but I think with a break, you can go back and do another 2 or 3-year terms.
Yes. Yes, I have served my 3 2-year terms, but definitely am willing to expand, and unless you're interested.
Well, I guess
Mr.
I
Mayor?
was gonna just throw it out to, I know Kim has maybe some feelings and thoughts on it too, and just like to get your input on kind of where you're at with it. I know in the past, we've sort of just kind of rolled with what we had in place, but now that we've got to change, and I think it's an appropriate time to maybe step back and change things up a bit. So I don't know, Kim, what's your thoughts?
I agree, Kevin. I think, I like to entertain the thought of just like really looking and switching up our boards we're on, because at this point, the only way you get on a board is the person who retires or doesn't, then you just take their place. There's never really another chance to change. And so, I mean, even though we have these meetings, if I would ask somebody to be off of it, they might not want to take their place. And so then you're kind of there at the same board. And I think for the boards, it would be good to have different faces on there too. We shouldn't, I mean, not to say that you can't ever get up, but right now, there would be no way I'd ever get off a board. And I don't think to have a variety, and so that we all can see what each board does too, would be interesting.
Certainly,
So
yes.
I don't know the best way to do that, put names in a hat and draw, or duke it out in the front ring here, or what?
Well, Kim, I think, you and I talked about this in one of the meetings that you and I and Blaine had, and I had a chance to think about this, and I've been on the tourism board and the chamber board really since I've been on the council, and part of that was because of my retail background and former business owner and things. I was just really interested in that area. With being on the chamber board, your ears are pretty well close to the ground when it comes to what's going on in the retail community, and I guess that's one board that I would like to keep, and I think it's kind of important for the mayor to be involved in what's going on Main Street. You can get a pulse for that, and but the tourism board, I would be willing to step away from the tourism board if somebody else wants to pick that up, and I could probably consider doing picking up that spot that Mayor Geese had on the SCIC
Yeah,
board.
that'd be a very good spot for you.
Yeah.
I mean, because you really get a feel for all the different things that are happening kind of behind the scenes with businesses and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's. I'm certainly willing to change. I think it's healthy. I agree with Kim 100%. And Brian's not here, so I know we really can't unless we want to speak for him. But maybe in his absence, we could. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I see the tree board isn't even listed on here.
I think I talked to Ashley about that today, and
They were gonna update it.
she was going to update that. Yeah, I noticed that too. I think Kim currently sits on the tree board and airport board and planning commission, right? You're on 3. Well, would you be willing to
I
take?
would like to take the tourism board, and
Alright.
I'll still stay on the tree board. The other two don't meet that often, but I would definitely like the tourism and stay on the tree board.
I have
Unless somebody else would like to take a chance, hit on the tree board.
Totally wide open. I guess it always was the time of day. Some meet in the afternoon, some meet at noon, some meet 8 or 9 in the morning. That was sometimes conflicts with different members, but wherever I'm needed, I'm more than willing to serve.
Yeah,
I
and
have been on the planning. I have done the West Central Initiative, currently on Park. So yes, I'm totally flexible I think it's good for us all if we get a chance to get on some different boards, and like you said earlier, for us to get in to see what
Yep.
is all involved with the different ones, so.
Yep.
So maybe keep one and get rid of one? Not get rid of, but or not, you want to keep?
I will gladly stay with the park unless somebody else would like to do that, but I could definitely pick up something else. Airport,
Sure.
I think Brian does a good job with RFC. I just involved with that.
Yep. Yeah, and he's on the RFC and community education, I believe. WCI, Sheldon, you were on that board, I believe. That would be another one we'll have to fill.
Does that meet here?
No,
In
that,
Fergus.
Generally meets in Fergus Falls at West Central Initiative Building, 3 times a year, I believe, 3 or 4, I don't remember. And lately, they've been doing a lot of online meetings.
You know, I could certainly pick up that responsibility too, and if Brian wants to keep with the 2 boards he's on, then we pretty much have it. Then the new person, whenever we get that person on board, we'll have to save a couple for
Mm-hmm.
the new person, of course. So maybe all of them don't need to be decided tonight then, do they, Blaine, or
I don't,
do we just put, maybe
or
we
you
could
can
just,
come back and switch them back around again. You can.
we could
you can
assign
do
them to
this
the new
whenever you
person?
want.
I mean, I don't know, if that would work or make sense.
You're still,
So what
That's
did
the
that,
one I'd be willing to give up,
and
that
SCEIC, we were gonna,
Kevin. Mayor.
there aren't any left though, are there? If we all took what we said we were gonna take?
Right.
So we'd have them all filled, but in the spirit of keeping the new person gainfully employed, maybe we wanna,
I
Change it.
definitely give up one of mine for somebody. Like I say, I've been on the park board now for a number of years to let somebody new in on that. They normally meet the 2nd Wednesday of the month, normally in the afternoons, but I believe this month they're gonna meet at 7:15 at Willie's before work for most of the people, but that's flexible. In the winter months, it's usually not real busy, so they'll cancel a meeting if there's nothing on the agenda, but I'd say let's table this when we get everybody here and see where we're
Yep.
at when we get everybody. I think
yeah, another week
if we
isn't gonna
continue
change much.
serving, or if we have something that's coming up for a meeting between us, Kevin, I think to appoint somebody, either take it yourself or appoint one of us. If there's a meeting in any of these before we meet again, and when we have Brian here, and if we've decided
Yep.
on a new member on the council,
Sounds fair enough. You're on the planning commission too, right?
Yeah, that's the one I'd give up, but
You wanted to give that up, yeah, so
If-
that would
if
be
there's
vacant.
a-
Okay, so we'd
Yeah,
have that
so I just have to-
spot, and maybe depending on how things go with Brian or Jeff. Okay, well, that being said, then I think we'll just table that until next meeting. If that's, we don't need to make a motion on that, do we, just to table it? Or do we?
Yeah, I
Motion
would
table?
make a.
I'll
motion
need
to
a
table
motion
it,
then to table that until next meeting.
Then we'll bring
I
it
move
back
to
on.
table the mayoral appointments,
Yes.
boards and commissions to next meeting.
You know, the appointments of the ex officios, we
Oh,
already,
ex officio, sorry.
Yep.
Appointments. Number-
I will
Yep.
second that tabling.
okay, so we have a motion and a second to table the appointments of ex officios until next meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Okay, are there any other business that anybody would like to present to the council? Hearing none, you
It
want,
would be nice if there was something on your website that said when the meetings were, if it's on there, I couldn't find it. Website of when meetings actually are, or if there's special meetings, there's nothing that says that.
second and fourth Tuesdays
I know.
every month, but yeah, you're right, to your point, that, I don't know, I never noticed that before, but.
Yeah, I can go back and see.
I mean, maybe it should be a couple of times on there, just so that everybody knows, because I couldn't find it on there. I went through the Facebook page and I found it, and I talked to them about it too. So maybe I missed it completely.
All right, well, thank you. Any other business to come before the council? If not, I will adjourn our meeting, and then I will hand the gavel over to the president of the EDA, Mr. Jeff Miller.
Newly sworn
I will call our EDA meeting to order. Could we have roll call, please?
Economic development.
It's all the same people.
All the same people.
Yeah.
Jack's the
Yeah,
Yeah,
just do it the same way.
okay. Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Selby, Gullikson,
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Mayor,
or I mean, excuse me, Mayor Mullins.
it's not gonna be the first time you're gonna do that.
My sheet's off.
Yes. Okay,
Reading and approval of our minutes from January 11 of 22. We have a motion for approval.
I move approval of minutes from January 11th, 2022.
I will second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approval?
Aye.
Opposed? Next business in order would be election of officers of president and vice president.
Right now, you're the pres and Brian is the vice,
Brian
correct?
Salvi is vice president, correct.
I will move to keep the officers the same, President Miller and Vice President Salvi.
I will second that. You're doing a fine job.
Any further discussion? Any other interested parties?
Well, just something for the people that are listening out there. I think most people maybe know what the EDA actually does, but it stands for Economic Development Authority. For those of you who aren't aware of, and this is right out of our charter, is responsible of the EDA to carry out economic and industrial development and redevelopment within the city. And in doing so, really, the end result of that is we enhance the city's tax base. So if we can encourage development and redevelopment, that helps, of course, the bottom line and increases our tax base. So
Yeah,
that's kind of what that's all
and I'll
about.
just make one quick note, because it's because we're part of the Stevens County Economic Development Authority. So it's like, well, if they're doing economic development, why do we have our own economic development authority then? And the answer to that is because from time to time, something will come up that maybe we have to apply to the state of Minnesota for funding, and they don't allow the SEIC to be the recipient of that funding. So then the SEIC will actually come back to us and say, okay, we need you to take an action in your EDA to accept this funding as part of the state process. And so from time to time, you'll see that happen. It's been a little while since we did one. But that's, we have to have that authority there so that when those things pop up, we can stop and have a city meeting and then approve it on a city level.
And we've did more of our separate development years ago, but we've consolidated
Right.
and did everything unified with the county just to keep it simpler and to put everything in one pile instead of forcing someone to come in and apply for City of Morse funding and then Stevens County funding, that they can go to one source, correct?
Right.
So
Well, that
trying to
and I-
simplify.
I think you recall that back, I'm not even sure when the monies were let, but there was an initiative at the state level to, was it, I can't remember the dollar amount, Blaine, was it like 50 grand or something that we had in our, that we transferred, actually ended up transferring that over to SCIC because they gave that money to cities with the intent that they were gonna use it for economic development, and they kind of realized, if I remember right, Blaine, that that money was just kind of sitting there not really being used, so then they kind of brought it back to the cities and made them.
Yeah, it was more than that. It was more than 50 grand. It was probably
300?
Probably $500,000. But it didn't make any sense for us because we don't have a full-time economic development
Right.
person working on economic development. And so the SCIC does. And then they freed up the rules so that, and then actually that's countywide. You know, we just got done doing something in Chicago, you know, and stuff like that. But everybody's working together, and as you go along, they change the rules a little bit. And Cheryl Coons, the economic development person, she knows and understands all that stuff really, really well. So then it didn't make sense for us to hang on to these funds that were just sitting there, so they got put to use.
Yeah, thanks for the background on that. I think it's helpful for people to kind of know that are listening out there, just kind of where we were and where we're at today. And I do agree, I think the SCIC has done a fine job and economic development, and it's worked out pretty well. I know at one time we talked about having the SEIC come and give us updates from time to time, and for whatever reason, I don't know if that's really happened.
She will. She's just waiting for the reorganization.